Hello everybody. I got a bit hard, that acid house. Made on a specky. That's some good stuff. I didn't hear it all the way to the end before I tried it though. Go on, Stimpy. That's enough of him for today. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm feeling great. I'm really looking forward to this project. I'm sure I will run into problems. You know, I'm going to need to tackle the tile map. Other than that, really, we can probably use our existing tool set, as it were, to make an RPG. We've done collision detection many times. We've done, you know, different screens, menus. We've done power-ups before. It's all the same, pretty much. But of course, linking it all together into an actual finished product, that's where the skill lies, and that's where the problems can arise when you on a new system. For example, yesterday the Space Invaders, it got a little bit big for me for the game type. I didn't want it to get any more complicated than it already was. Again, the same thing could easily happen with this project. The main reason I got put off the Space Invaders was actually coming up with a way of doing barrier and being able to shoot a pixel at a time out of it. The way I'm coding sprites here, that's not really catering to that effect, you know, to that scenario. Anyway, what I've done is I've created another new project. Can we see the name up there at all? Final Fantasy. I've imported retro tools, which contains very little. Sprite tools initializes a sprite. Well, all of the sprites, sorry. And my keyboard code. I've left background in here. I think I'll leave that because of that. We will use it at some point, so I'm going to leave it there. Of course, constants. We're always going to need constants. All of them are not specific to any type of game. This is our main game class. Call him background. Don't know, do we need that? Not right now. Comment that out just to remind us to do it later. The only thing I can think of that we're going to use this background in the form that we've created it there, where it uses the register to draw to layer 2 with a full bitmap. I would only really use that on main menus and the cutscenes. But for a game like this, for an RPG, you need to use a tiled set. You don't use full bitmaps for the screens. So might not get much use out of this, but so what did I call the sprites? I've changed the name. Rgb Sprites. I've drawn these myself. They're not great, but there's enough in there to make an RPG of sorts. There's a brick wall, floor, wooden floor, a bridge sort of barrier thing, and a character. And then the rest of them, I've imported all 64, but they're all empty. It seems like some of them aren't empty, which is strange. There shouldn't be 12. I drew them and I know there's not 12. The bridge. Barrier thing. I mean, just so that you're not completely blind to what I'm talking about, I'll show you it on the screen. So there's the ones I drew, and actually there is 11 of them to 12, but they're all tileable images. And that's what I'll be using for now. So with this guy, you can just flip him, that's his animation. And if you've ever played Final Fantasy 1, you'll know that they just continually do that even when they're stood still. So that's his player animation. That's some grass, a bush, brick wall, or sort of stone path, brick path, wooden path. Barrier. Notice it's transparent. Flat barrier. Ocean. Shadowed ocean. Brick wall. And the other side of a brick wall. And finally some doors, or whatever I want to use them for. Maybe some floor tiles, maybe. It's only for fun, you know. This is of course not the finished graphics for the game. Okay. So that's the sprites. So we have an empty game project here. Basically, I've left the player. I've deleted a lot of it, but I can still move to the right and left. This edge thing, it's probably going to need to be all completely reworded. We're going to have to figure out scrolling, and at the same time the tile map. Before I do that, I could easily set up the player so that he can walk around on the screen without it scrolling. We could even start making like a dialogue system before we do the scrolling if we want to, or you know, an NPC or power up system. Current anim frame, not really needed. Keep speed. This attribute slot, there's 128 of them, so 127 is the final slot. That'll do for now. There might be some instances where you want certain tiles to be drawn above the player, where he goes under a bridge or whatever. Still learning that on next. Like, this is the attribute slot, but you know, I could change that dynamically if I didn't have it as a constant, or if I had another constant indeed. It does get quite complicated there with that. So I guess I'll just try and draw him to the screen first. You might have noticed in my sprites I only drawn him facing the camera. So this is just really a practice. I need better sprites to make it properly. Could probably rip them out of the existing, you know, out of an old NES game or something. Struggling to get started now for some reason. I don't know why. I just want this player start here. I don't know if I need it. I don't like this gutter thing. It's used for the movement. I'll leave it there, but we're going to be changing their movement completely when we do scrolling. So it's been a very long time since I played any sort of game like Final Fantasy. But you of course have like hit points, you have experience points, magic points. You know, it's a typical RPG, a very basic version. You have money, I believe. You actually have a team of people that you can choose as well. So the player here in this class, you know, you'd build his whole team in here basically. At the end of the day, it's just different sprite, but then they will have more power and all that sort of stuff. Let's start off and just pretend you can only have one member in your team. By defining it as a byte, I've limited it to 250 or 255. They also have a level. I'm not sure if 255 is adequate. Let's pretend it is. Could be. Because for money, for example, we can always just stick 2 zeros on the end or so, and if we want them to be able to have 25,000. Yo, Specky Nut. Just seen your messages. Haha, you didn't miss a great deal, man. It was quite a slow progress. We drew the screens, if you remember, the bitmap, full screen images, and that was about it. At the end of the video, I described why I was going to leave it for now, because I wanted to keep that as a basic example without adding more stuff and ending up with a game that didn't work anymore. Because I'm so new to the next, there was quite a few things I learned all in one go. So I decided to yeah, that's you didn't miss anything really, mate. Once you saw the scrolling, that was it. That was basically the final thing I achieved. The rest of it was just fiddling around. I'd already decided at that point that I couldn't take that game any further, and the reason was you have a barrier. Hello, Microman. How are you, my man? This could be more fun in the long run. You know, the Space Invaders was fun, but it was just to get some sprites drawing on the screen, really. Test a little, whatever the word is, you know, mess about. So really, to have more than one in the team, we'll have to have an array of characters. Do I want to do that right now? I mean, I've only drawn one character. The money's shared between them all. They actually have a type though as well. Should probably use that as the type. Oh, in fact, I remember I used that as the visibility plus sprite image ID. Funnily enough, from that we could work out whether it was a magician or a warrior or a, a thief or a ninja. So do I really need to store another byte? I don't think I do. We could probably be clever enough to work out if that's a set value, then it's going to be warrior. If that's a different value, it's something else. Oh, this is still the next, yeah. Although right now all this stuff is generic. This would work on basically any system. Interrupts. Okay. Oops. So we can have 4 characters. And I could either put my usual loop thing there, or I could just have a constant to say how many there are. Oh, Lucky Redfish. I think I've read that before, actually. Yeah, I will take a look at that. It's a black site with a red writing in it from memory. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'll have a read. I did read that at some point before, but that was before I'd ever even touched the next. So this stuff here wouldn't be needed if we use this. This is a juggling act here between keeping it simple for our own little demo purposes, or doing this knowing that that's how we want it to be, but it'll be more complicated right from the offset. Let's go for it. Sort of a gauntlet. Have you played Final Fantasy 1 before, or any of the early ones, or Ultima? It's going to be along those lines. Yeah, me too. Again, I stated at the start of the video, I'm pretty sure I won't complete this project. It's just for fun and for learning purposes, Of course, if I get quite far into it and it's nice and tidy still, then I'll work on it and make some good sprites. But right now, I've got a feeling that I'll run into something that will really bugger it up eventually, But that's sort of how I learn. When we begin the game, the guy's going to choose a team. The player is going to choose a team, and these are going to get populated. And this is what I was talking about, simplicity. I could just hard code one and test out rubbish boring stuff like collision and walking up to an NPC, activating him. Or I could just jump straight into this character stuff. I think I'm going to have to just not do that because I haven't got any sprites for him. Where do I start without that? I've only got one sprite. Once I've got this working, this is exactly how I'm going to do it. I keep saying that I'll do stuff overnight, but I'm not finding the time at the moment in between work and just chilling out. But what I wanted to do was come back with a whole bunch of sprites and maybe a little bit of the groundwork done. Let's just pretend he's chosen this player. Of course we need a type. So the image ID I've chosen is 0, and that's the visibility bit. What I'm going to try and focus on here is I'm going to load the character in. I'm going to make the keyboard move in left and right. That's going to take me not long at all, I don't think. And up and down. At that point, I really want to try and do the tile map, but that could take me all night. If I change my mind from that, I'm going to make an NPC and have it so you can walk up and talk to him. Because I've already got an idea of how to do that. But we don't really need to worry about player start just yet. That'll be how we reset his money and stuff like that when he begins a new game. It's really the same stuff we've done all the time with the key press. Of course, I am going to come up with a way of what am I doing? I am going to come up with a way of doing redefinable keys soon, but for now this will do fine. Let's store the flags so that we don't end up moving left and right on the same frame. Actually, that was bullcrap. That's fine, that is. Because right now I'm going to load A again anyway. And I'm going to do another compare. Okay. We haven't actually got to move up and down yet. Scrolling, yes. Yeah, we'll have to be scrolling. What I'm going to do is, with the tile map, I've already created the tiles, but I want to be able to create a world that is, if the screen only has 32 tiles width, I want my world to be 128 tiles width, and the same for the height. Well, I have never tried, but I'm assuming it must be able to be possible because there's quite little point of having the tile map feature without being able to scroll it. But I'll have to find out. Perhaps I'm wrong with this tile map thing. Vertical scroller. I mean, I don't know much about the Dragon 32, but I've done scrolling on the original Specky, and it was not as hard as once I got my head around the 16-bit values. It was pretty simple, to be honest. I made one. Well, the Horace Goes Skiing. That is the vertical scrolling. But I also done like a demo with just some lines scrolling up and down. It was good. Nice. Glad you saw that. It's really good to know that people are watching it, man. Because sometimes I see it and I click on my analytics on YouTube. And it says like average watch time 1 minute, and I'm like, oh, I've done a 3.5 hour video and people watch 1 minute. I think as long as there's a few people watching it, more than a minute, I'm happy, Because of course a lot of people click it and then 5 seconds later shuts it, I'm not deluding myself. Especially with the not great mic. It doesn't help. Let's not worry about up and down yet. Because I haven't actually compiled this and run it. We've got errors. Main.asm number 28. Ah, I deleted that. I also deleted bullet. More errors. Game line 5. Ha! I went to find the name out and then I forgot it. So that's going to initialize the sprites for me. I'll try it again, but it's going to give me an error. I've got quite a few errors here. Next one is line 17, background.update. Don't need bullet, don't need enemy. I might just do it. 0 errors, but we've got a warning. Oh, he's still getting shown. Oh, interesting that it's forgotten the size of C-spec. So the warning was player.asm, line 71, and values getting truncated. I changed it from a constant just by using copy and replace in the text editor. And now it's a 16-bit number rather than a constant. That should work for us. Huh, he's vanished now, but I've got no error, that's the funny thing. Interesting. See where he appears. Interesting. There he is. I managed to move him like 1 pixel as well. Got no player attribute 1. No, there's a reason for that as well. What was the reason? Oh, I had a thing with the sprites copied in there before. the different attribute things. Let me get that back. So sprite attribute 0 is the first one, sprite attribute 1 is the second, and they're just X and Y. So that is, let's put them the other way around, there's no reason for Y to be above X. That's like a 48k thing, or when you're using bytes instead of words. But that's the reason for that. You're going to set up VS Code. Awesome. That sounds like a good idea. Rock, paper, scissors. Good idea, mate. That sounds brilliant because there's no like, it's going to be able to let you learn about using the update loop. With a game like Rock, Paper, Scissors, you don't actually need an update loop. You could just, I mean, you never need one. It's a choice thing. But you could actually just use triggers for every single like event. So you could make routines that only get triggered rather than called every frame. Animation. Yeah, well, for animation, you're going to need an update loop because you need to like learn to incrementally every frame 60 times a second to update the amount, a specific amount to move it. You know, I'm sure you'll have loads of fun doing it because it's great satisfaction when you get it working. You know. Good for you, man. Post it up on the Discord if you get it working, or if you have any questions. I'm not always on there, to be fair, but I do take a look when I get time. Nice one. Same goes for if you ever start a channel or you have a project you want to give some attention to, feel free to post it there. I hope it helps, mate. There's loads of little nuggets of information in my videos if you for a newbie. It's just that unfortunately I'm not that organised with like keeping it short and sweet. But you know, little things like returning out of loops at the right time and stuff. It's a skill that took a while to learn. You know, I'm still learning it. I'm still probably doing certain things way wrong and not knowing yet. You know, but I wonder why I couldn't move right. Like I moved one time right. Let's try again. Oh yeah, it does move right. I was talking rubbish. I think it's my keyboard. I've got a wireless one, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So to animate him is to change attribute 3, I think. Yeah, attribute 3. These bits. But actually, that would be to animate through to another sprite frame. He just needs to be flipped, which is mirror X there. So it's an attribute 2. It's just one bit. I think I'll just have. So here's how I'm going to try and lay out my routines from now on. I'm going to have start, update, draw at the top of every one, and then after that, anything I create after, you know, for any other reason. So there's his movement code. just going to put animate character. And it's super basic. It's going to be just either 0 or 1. The thing is, I get concerned about names too much, as you probably noticed if you watch my videos. But all I'm really doing with this routine is flipping the sprite. Let's do that. So it's not actually bit. Wait, yes it is. Load a attribute through. I think it was 2 actually. I'm gonna have to check it. My short-term memory. Yeah, there we go. So it's bit 0, 1, 2, 3 of that. And it's going to give me the opposite in the Z flag. So that Z represents 1 in the Z flag. So if it is a 1 already, if that Z is a 1, that means his split bit is 0. So I want to make it set. If not, I want to reset flip. I'm busting for the loo. I'm gonna have to go, but when I get back, I'm gonna be doing I think it's or. I've got to figure. I'm gonna have to look at the mathematical thing on Z80n to check whether it's or and. But basically, I just want to change that 1 bit to be 1. I'll look at Z80n, but I'll be right back. Okay, one or 2 minutes. I'm just reading your comments. I'm gonna roll a smoke. But did that explanation satisfy you? This is your attribute, well, attribute 2, and that contains the mirror bits. That would be bit 0. That's bit 1, 2, 3, X mirror. So here I've loaded that byte where I cache this value, checked what its existing one is here, and this gives me the reverse of whatever it currently is, and then I'm going to set it to be the new one. So every single frame I'm going to call this, so he's going to flip continually. It might not look good enough, but I'm going to have a look. Just going to roll a smoky. Yeah, I was just looking at Z80 Heaven then while I was doing that. I was trying to see if there was a way of just putting a value into a bit, but it doesn't seem to be, other than ORing it. I mean, I already know its value here, but I don't want to change any of the other bits. So that's, funny enough, I could just do XOR. Oops. For this simple thing, I could just do XOR and not compare. I believe. The brackets have thrown you. Almost. What I've done is loaded A with that entire byte, and then when it was saying bit 3A, it was just looking at the third bit of A, which contains that entire byte. And this here will help you a lot with it, trust me. This website here is invaluable, and I find that particular page quite easy to understand. You're going to learn loads more when you actually jump in and try and do it yourself. You got that bookmark, good, yeah. I find that the best one. Other people have found other ones better for the Spectrum, because that's not even designed for the Spectrum, that website, you know. I've always found that one the easiest to read. But I don't use that bit a lot. I need to start using it more, but you can definitely make games without ever using that. But there's no reason to avoid it. It's really simple once you've got your head around it. But I think, in fact, what I can do is just flip the bit there. The only thing I'm worried about now is how quick is this going to occur. There's no real reason why we can't just call that right at the beginning. Not on the draw loop though, in the update. Doesn't really matter where we call that from. Let's see if it works. Like I said, it could happen so quickly it doesn't even look like they're moving. Just continually doing it. But it's a start, it proves it works. I have got weight raster line here. It didn't seem to be very smooth, to be honest. You'd think with this weight raster line that would have been dead smooth, that animation. And that appeared to have no bearing at all. Let's just try 500 there for a second. You can't. Let's load BC with it. Seems to do nothing. Key press only. Oh look, it is working. Funnily enough, because of Final Fantasy being very basic, this would be adequate, but the game is running extremely slow now. Like if you wanted to have some fast moving enemies, it'd be terrible. It's much better to have that as a 1 or something much lower than 255, and then control by a timer. But the thing is, according to what I wanted this raster weight to do, it should be matching up with the frames per second of the television now. But that didn't seem to be the case. It seemed to be wavering up and down in speed, depending on maybe what my machine was doing. Oh, how strange. Oh, I didn't save it. That black box gets in the way of the save thing now. I don't know where I've saved. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look that smooth to me. But anyway, let's leave it like that and try and come up with a way inside the player, like an animation timer. But we've seen that 255 was an adequate amount of time to wait. So I deleted this a minute ago, but I'm now going to recreate it. Let's just say 250 for now. So if it's more than 250, the C flag will be reset. And then we'll call it flip character sprite. And what I'd probably do is, this is unnecessary and a bit wasteful. And in the Spectrum 48K days, very recently, I would have probably not done this because I've got worried about wasting a byte or whatever. But so now we'll call flip character. We'll also set that counter back to 0. So XOR A makes A 0. Bytes like rings, very precious. Yeah, true. That was pretty wasteful. It's not needed. I could have easily just put this at the bottom of that. But you see, this flips the character sprite. And this, all of that stuff up here is all about animating the player, really. Yes, fair enough. The main bulk of that is done by flipping it on this occasion. But I might want to change that later. So I like having it. It is a bit wasteful. I thought about it in my mind whether I should bother doing that or not. But I think it actually makes it slightly more readable. And the names are more descriptive of what they actually do. Right, so now it's going to wait until that. So let's see if that slowed his walk speed or his animation down. Hey, there we go. Ah, is it even flipping though? Doesn't look like it. And that's because I never increase this timer, this counter. We've just loaded it into A there, so we may as well increase it here. Recache the new value. That's actually checking the old value, but it doesn't matter. Oh no, it's not anyway. It's not. That's rubbish. What am I talking about? So this should now work. And you can see why I want to keep it simple. Because I'm still stuck doing the most simple stuff. And it did work though. I got worried there. So that's brilliant. It should be smooth now. If I put, maybe let's try 5. There we go. That should be happening 5 times per second exactly. Or should it though? Yeah, I mean I've got the stream running in 20 FPS specky. So my output is actually not going to be 100% accurate to you guys. You're never going to see it smooth. To be honest, that looks pretty smooth on my screen. I'm going to slow it down more though. It's way too fast. That's quite realistic now. That's what it looks like in the game. And I'd say it's pretty smooth as well. I don't see any skips. Perhaps a tiny bit slower. Just try, I don't know. There we go. So we can control him nicely. It does work. The moving him is completely independent from that. But of course, to set him up to turn is a completely different ball game. And I haven't got a sprite for that. But what we would do to do that, I really wish I'd drawn that sprite now. But basically you'd have it here, the left one, or the right, you know, it'd be left, right, up, down. He's been in the gym, he certainly has. Rotate won't work, I'm afraid, no. Because rotate will just turn the sprite 90 degrees on its side. I'll show you it. Where's sprites? Forget which one is rotate now. I did try it before though. No, I'll show you. It won't look good rotated. I think that's rotate. Attribute 2. Thank you, mate. So it's byte 1. Bit 1 of attribute 2. Let me double check that. Yeah. So he should be rotated now. Yeah. You need a specific sprite because of the angle of the view. On Gauntlet, if it was top down completely, it probably would have worked. I mean, that's a lot better than it could. I suppose we could live with that. I could live with that, you know. But most games have yeah, top down. It would have been awesome. A great idea actually. You've made me want to do Gauntlet style game instead now. Just change this into Gauntlet instead. It's easier. Let's put him back because I could probably download some 16 by 16 RPG characters and just use one now. Well, hey, this would be cool. You actually need like an up facing one as well. Look, this is annoying. You've got the up one there. Different colour hair. You need up and down. I'd definitely rather draw my own. No, I'm not going to bother with that. It's going to take too long. Eagle's Nest. Is that what the view's called? We're just going to have to pretend for now that I've done the rest of the animation. I can do it tomorrow. Oh, it's still flipped. Or rotated, I should say. It's going to be fine, you know. I literally just have to move the sprite pointer across, you know, the image counter up one. And I can even have a constant, you know, right equals 1, left equals 2, and then I know exactly what image it is. But I do need to have it drawn before I can do that. There's no point demonstrating it with a wall tile. So I guess I need to make an NPC. What's that video there? Click it, sorry. Oh, into the eagle's nest. Alright, it looks a lot like Gauntlet, yeah. Very much like Gauntlet. Awesome. Brilliant. This is exactly the same as the top down, except for the graphics take a bit of extra work to have that sort of, I don't want to use isometric, that's the wrong word, but that sort of fake perspective feel to it. Takes a tiny bit extra work, you know, you have with your world creation. What am I actually doing here? Oh yeah, I was going to copy the player. I'll probably just call it NPC. Now if I was coding in C#, I'd create a single NPC class like this, and I'd be able to spawn multiple of them. You can't really do that with assembly, as far as I know. So I'd have to have an array of them if I wanted more than one in a screen at the same time. Let's just make like 3. Well, let's make 1, and then I'll extend it later. Just keep it really simple. So that was the reason I copied and pasted it, because they are very similar. Gutter needs to go into constant, and it could do it being renamed as well, but so all that's rubbish. Again, similarly to with the player characters, I could actually use the ID, image ID, to distinguish which NPC we're talking to. If I pretend we only want one on the screen at any one point, we could just use this. Just change this so it's different. Old man is 10, young girl is 5. Whatever. Unfortunately, I don't have any other sprites. The NPC is gonna have to be the same as the player right now. I guess I could copy in UDG'd. If I copy the NPC and then just colour him in different for now. I copy the player. Paste him in there. Give him blue hair. Whoops. Oh god. I tried to undo and it went black the entire screen. Blue hair. Yellow clothes. This woman's been to the gym. I'm generating it all. Just gonna rip that one sprite out. Number 12. It's weird, that doesn't look empty. Must be 13 then. Oh yeah, of course it starts from 1. It hasn't copied it either. What's going on? think I copied the wrong one. So it's 13, but when I refer to it in my code, it has to be 12 because it doesn't start from 0 in the count, unfortunately. So if I just put like Marge Simpson, this is what I'm sort of saying. I could have any name I want for a character. She's got blue hair. So I could. Oh, I've still got visibility. Yeah, I have. I could just do that. Actually makes it a bit clearer of how I'm using it. Animation counter. They probably want their own. Well, they certainly do. So I'm doing this the hard way here, but it's not really a big deal. Won't need that. Let's not bother. We will need that actually at some point. Let's put animate NPC. It makes more sense. Even though I probably need to make a generic one of them that I can just call, put it in the tools. Do I have that? Yeah. Let's get rid of that gap. So we've done the slot. See, that's a 16-bit number, but I do only need the little bits, the little bytes in. I could have actually done that there as well. This time we needed the higher byte, so we do load it into a pointer. I want move in that, but right now I don't care about being able to move in. See, this is another perfect example of putting something into tools instead. But I'm not going to bother just yet. all good. So all we have to do now is just call NPC update, call NPC draw. Normally I'd say you have to worry about what order you want to draw things in, but that doesn't seem to apply with the next. It seems that it will worry about what your slot ID is. The higher ones are drawn afterwards on top. Give that a whirl, see if it appears. Oh, we have an error. Ah, same mistake I make every day. Didn't include it. Okay, no errors. So he's there, but he's got the wrong sprite. Ah, yes. Micro, that's funny. That's brilliant. That's actually perfect use of that emote. Make everyone jealous now of that. I'm going to upload that one as my next slot. I've got there's definitely a caveman one coming up any day now, as soon as they bloody get around to approving it. Oh god, I've gone out of here, I didn't want to. I remembered it a minute ago. Yeah, it's this type thing. We haven't used it. I think it's attribute 3 we've got to be concerned with. So in NPC start, we'd have like, you'd tell it what type it is. So if we were only going to have one NPC current type, not equals db0, which is invalid. Let's go into constants. I've got dead or alive and true or false. Oops. I'm also going to put visible I can't even spell it. Visible equals 1. Not visible equals 0. I'm also going to put not enabled equals 0. Enabled equals 1. Because I keep interchanging these and now it doesn't matter. So obviously, yeah, then you won't see this NPC. Well, you will right now, but I mean, I can easily make it so you can't by checking that that is that. Here, you would set it when you want to call start. You'd set this. So, say you walk into an element of an area of the screen where you want to show an NPC, you would set that type to Marge Simpson or to whatever one you want. Then here it would check it. And it's going to set attribute 3. Why are we using the 4th one there? I forget what T was, but we're using it, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. So I need to set 3 anyway, to be the type. There's lots of ways of doing this. You could make labels, but this way doesn't need an extra label. My short-term memory is so bad. It's definitely attribute 3 we want. And not load A. Load it to A. Load A to that attribute. Make A Marge Simpson. If the current type is Marge Simpson, we can then return. So now if I want to set it to, let's just make NPC Homer. So if not, it'll be there. Oh, and also yeah, that is sad, but I think today's one will be alright because I used the Turrican music, and it's a 7-minute long piece of game music that I think is pretty heavily protected. Manual. Oh, manual. T=0. Relative sprite. Yeah, I remembered that. I didn't mention it on air then because I thought it sounded a bit complicated to come out with, but basically I'm not using that, but I've enabled it anyway. Yeah, Microman's super useful, man. You know loads of stuff. Here I was showing something that's a bit irrelevant, but what I'm trying to say is this is how we would have more than one. So by setting the current type, not this one. And it has to be plus visibility. I've used that twice. I had type and then current type. So anyway, this is what we would do if we had Homer. So what we do is we load it with Homer, and then we check that the current type is Homer, and we can return. If not, we'll have to load yet another one here if we want anything different. Or we could have a default state here. We need to make sure that visibility is added. At the moment, he'll be invisible. I mean, we could easily just do that here. For now, it might be a better way. So all I'm doing is adding that value. There we go. So attribute 3 has now been set. Current type is used for us to control. Then we call to start, and it sets the appropriate image slot. But you have to remember not to add visibility. You're just going to want to say what NPC you want, basically. And you don't even have to load it into any register, you just set it. Bit goofy. I'll probably change all that, but it'll do for now. Let's get rid of that. So it is extremely goofy, but should probably change that to desired type or something. Very goofy, but let's see. It might just work now. That might be it. Blue hairs. All we're really looking for. Oh hey, yeah, Marge. Oh, we can't move anymore. It's a bit odd. I think that might be caused by. I don't know what's causing that actually. I bet it's my keyboard playing up again. Let's just try it with it nearer. Oh no, it definitely ain't working. Odd. Odd, because I don't remember changing anything on the player. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment out this stuff for the NPC in the update loop, in the main game sort of routines. Just see if it'll move now. Yes, he does. So it's something in the NPC that I've copied and pasted in and forgot to change. It's not a slot because that's what I thought it was going to be. But I mean, let's just try like giggity. Should do a constant called giggity. Oh, now it moves. What slot did I have before then? Did I have the same? No, I had a different slot. Is this a Heisenbug? Let's try it again. Put it back to how I had it a minute ago. And it doesn't work. Interesting. Why would that be the case? And now I can move. So it seems like it's using up 2 slots. Can't imagine why. Emu. You legend. Thanks for popping in. Saving the day. Thank you so much, man. I read that, what you told me, but not clever enough to actually link it, recall it, and realise the problem. Yes, I definitely knew that, but I didn't. The only reason I'm not using 4-bit, because most of my sprites, as you can see, would easily be possible with 4-bit, I expect, but I don't know how yet. .64 is going to be enough for now. I'm only using like 12, and it's already sort of, well, I'd need another, say, 8 for the player, and 8 for each NPC. Yeah, might end up having to look at 4-bit soon. I mean, I can use more sprites, can't I? I just can't load them all in at the same time. Yeah, it's 4 bits per pixel, isn't it? Rather than 8 bits. But I don't know the actual Emu could obviously give you a much better description than I could. Yeah, I'll change the sprites on the fly. That's cool. So when I get to a certain level, you know, or a dungeon, I load the dungeon and then I can load a whole completely new sprite sheet. 16 offsets into the palette. Yeah, okay. I've been playing with the palette as well. Did play with that. I've deleted it now. I definitely managed that. It was quite easy. I found that different palettes didn't look very good. Do you have to like manually set up the other palettes? Because like they all seem to like have matching colours, if that makes sense. Like it seemed to reduce the colour. Perhaps they were like, it was more red, but then there was more versions of red rather than having red, blue, yellow. I was just doing it. I was just playing around with that. Alright, so we've figured out a way of starting up an NPC when we want to and telling it what type it is. I'm not going to mess around with any collision today because we've done that like on nearly all the videos. Oh, I can no longer move. Really odd. Now I can. I love that little animation though of the players. It looks a lot like the original Final Fantasy. It's quite fun. I'm liking it. I'm going to have fun making this. Can't wait to do the tile map, but I'm going to try and do the tile map alone, so I don't like continually just rely on you guys. Of course, it's nice having examples. It never hurts. I can't complain, but it'd be nice for the viewers if I could come back and do it myself. Dialogue system. I guess let's make the player move up and down first. Then again, I'm going to rewrite the movement code. You see, when I've done the tile map, that was why I didn't bother making him move up and down. I'll still be able to butcher most of that out of it. It's going to be very similar to that. Don't need to worry about bit 0 on this one. I do, but it's not NZ, it's Z. This is all going to be needed really anyway. I'll just have to scroll when I get to like a certain, rather than say top edge, it'll be like, well, it can still be called top edge, but it won't be the very top of the screen. It'll be where I stop the player walking and then it starts scrolling. So, the value this time. Minus player speed. Oh. It doesn't really matter what value I put there right now. Oh, of course, there's that gutter thing to worry about. I honestly don't care about it though. Like, it could be anything, you know. I'm going to change it soon. Okay. The top, bottom edge is the highest number. It's at 12 again. If you remember, we know that the most significant bit is set right now at this stage. So it's more than or equal return. Not do move. Down. And then here. Good old faithful routine. I've had this routine for so long now. These keyboard ones. Seems to work though. Okay. Wait. Of course, don't worry about the animation or the collision. We know how to do that. What I want is to, I guess, come up with a dialogue system now. That's one of the most tricky things I've found in game dev, to make an efficient, extendable dialogue system. The first step of doing that would actually be to make a menu where you can see your experience points, your items. It does feel like we've written this part before, for sure. Something similar to Dizzy. I love Dizzy. That's different to this game, of course. Dizzy was the first game that I actually got really addicted to, you know. Same for my sister, I think, my little sister. She used to play that with me. I'd had a lot of games before Dizzy, but I used to play them for like 5 or 10 minutes. Until I got Dizzy, and then it was 10 hours, you know, skiving off school to complete it. I noticed there's a couple of new ones that I've never played. There's 2 on the NES, like an unreleased one, and then some other new one. You can actually download them as NES files. That's great news that there's another one coming, because I've read the story about it. There's a big copyright argument, isn't there, over the Oliver twins and Codemasters, and it unfortunately led to that franchise dying, didn't it? Basically, a long time ago. Because at one point every kid knew who Dizzy was, you know, and then suddenly none. I mean, he doesn't really suit the modern consoles. His design, they would have had to really upgrade his sort of look, because it's hard to upgrade an egg, of course. Dizzy's another great game to make. Again, though, I'd need a tile map for that. I think this is going to be one of the simplest versions of a tile map game, even though it will be really fun as well if we get it working. And I love RPG games, and I know there's a massive following out there for them, you know. But you've got to make them good. You can't just churn out any old crap. It's not going to get popular. But it's a form of collision detection with the what's it called? With the dialogue system. Even the first step of it would be to have a large bounding box around the NPC. Oh yeah, it'd be mega 3D by now. It would have lost all its charm, wouldn't it? Yeah. Sometimes the good old stuff doesn't translate so well onto the new. I imagine trying to re-release Jet Set Willy, a more modern take on it for the PS5. Quote box size to fit the message would be the ultimate, absolute ultimate. That's like got to be the hardest bit about making this game. I was thinking about just having a panel. You can't see my mouse, but you know, roughly a third of the screen, you know, or a fifth of the bottom of the screen, running all the way across the bottom there. Just have it pop up. This is going to be something that takes a lot of work to refine. Because right now, you know, I've never even displayed text or anything, you know. In the player, I'll do that trick, you know, that target movement, so that you can never walk into a wall or whatever. So that's where I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to do it now. But in NPC, I'll do the collision for the player. And right now, we're only going to have maximum one NPC. If we wanted to make it so they could have 2 or 3, it might be worth just because they can't all talk at once. It might be worth just having like another class for background NPCs, like a more simple version. But this is that same old code we've seen before here. Timeshare NPC. Basically what it is. It's funny because it's completely different to how the last time I made this game in Unity, and I was able to create just generic NPC class and then assign that script to however many objects I wanted, and they'd be unique, you know. Completely different in this. That's the whole thing. You'll be able to code it so that they'll be doing all sorts of different things. I mean, most NPCs don't fight you in that game. All fight scenes are turn-based. That's going to be one of the most fun parts, doing the battle. I've never done it. I've never tried it, but I think it'll be fun. Oh, we've got to remember that the positional values are 16-bit. How did I deal with that last time? I found a crafty way around that, didn't I? Oh, we just check if the MSB is the same after we've done the collision. Yeah, that's it. It's just a generic NPC. It could be the king of a castle who gives you a key and a quest, or it could be a maid who sweeps the floor and says hello, and nothing more. But this is a much more conceptual sort of way to program than the Space Invaders. With Space Invaders, everything is sort of immediate. Like this, I'm trying to create an NPC that could do more than one thing. Mikalor's Mansion. Never heard of that one, mate. Ultima and Final Fantasy would be the way I'd describe it so far, with what's in my mind. Final Fantasy 1 is exactly what I'm going for. So you have an overworld, and you have, when you go into a town, and then you also have dungeons, but you also have a completely different mode where you're in fight scene, and that's like a side-on view. You can't control, you just choose whether you want to do a spell or a hit or run. That sounds funny. That's the way we've got to do it to stand out. We've got to do some sort of funny as hell game with funny graphics. I don't quite know if I'll go the Leisure Suit Larry approach, but it's got to stand out one way or another. Like I said at the start, though, I don't think I'm going to finish this game. I'm bound to run into problems, but what I do want to try is the tile map. Don't hit her with the pork sword. Show her the back half. Should we have that as like the best weapon in the game, the pork sword? So anyway, I want to check that he's inside this bounding box. It doesn't even matter about like accuracy of this collision. I think I'm going to make it the width of the player, the width of the character, but come down further. So you have to go and stand in front of him to talk to him, basically. So I've only got the little bite, and we haven't got a width. Oh wait, the way I do it, B is going to be the largest number. So that's his left shoulder, and I want to check if that's a larger number than the NPC's shoulder on his right side. Compare it to B. Return if smaller, because there's no collision. This time NPC left shoulder. It's going to be one of them things when I come to, after I do this, the next bit's going to take me forever. I think it'll probably be the last thing I'm doing, and then I'll probably have to do some of it on my own, so that I don't come on tomorrow and just do the whole thing, the whole video doing one thing. I want to add the player's width, which happens to be the same. No, it seems too easy so far, but maybe I'm forgetting something. We'll see in a minute. Need to add the height. Yeah, but I keep qualifying it right from the outset that I don't expect to finish it. I'll be happy just to get him walking around, pop up a dialogue box, and then I'll go to the tile map. Aim for the stars. And I forgot the rest of the quote, but something inspirational. Jotting things down. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's inevitable with doing it live that there's going to be some massive progress and then some that's a complete waste of time, but you know, even the waste of time you can learn from. There's quite a lot of variables. Nothing really unusual because we're going to be using these like a heck of a lot now. This we've always used. Obviously, this is part of the next as well, and then this is a bit clunky in it, but it works. Who'd you meet? Well, I haven't even got that far yet. For example, if I was just going to copy the Final Fantasy storyline, you'd start in a room with a king, and he gives you a quest. You know, his daughter's missing or whatever. I can't even remember, but he would give you like a crappy shield, you know, or something like that. Oh, the ultimate goal will be. I mean, like I say, we can. That's the beauty of it. We haven't got that far yet. It could be all about like. It could be modern. We could make this a modern game, and it's all about like getting like. What could it be? Something modern. You know, you've lost your phone. You got to find it, and then you got to go and speak to people, find out where you were and all that crap. Or it could just be a complete rip off of Final Fantasy where you got to go and slay some dragons and some monsters, find better swords along the way, save the princess. Yeah, 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 shit like stuff like that. It could be more modern like that, maybe. Just wrap toilet roll around your face. That would be the secret move. Like you'd be there looking around for a face mask in the game, then you realise you just got to make one out of toilet roll. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, we haven't thought of the storyline yet. But to be honest, we're writing it in such a way that you can make more than one fantasy game out of this. Not enough pancakes in roleplay games. Hey, Ayla. Nice to see you. That was funny. Pancake based RPG. I missed the earlier comment about pancake. I can't find that. I believe what I've written here is enough to check the collision, but because of that extra you know, for the large numbers, we've got to check that they match. And to do that, it's the high byte of each. How did I do it? Because I already done it on that other project. we were using the IX register before. Travelled to Canada to make some maple syrup. Seven Cities of Gold. I've heard of it, but I have to look it up now. The last bit of this puzzle in the code, by the way, I need to get the 2 high bytes instead of the low bytes. I've never done that without using it. I've never done that without using the IX register for one of them. Seven Cities of Gold. It really does ring a bell. Oh wow, that looks awesome, that game. I might have to do a playthrough of that, you know, live gameplay. I've been meaning to do some gameplay videos. I'm going to write that down. That looked amazing. Oh, Emook, are you still here? The only reason I ask is I wrote 2 little things down. I've been using your art program. I just wondered if you cared to hear 2 easy things I wrote for suggested improvement. I mean, I would never, if I knew how to do it, I'd try and do it myself. But yeah. Okay, the first one, although I think I found a way where this is actually irrelevant, actually, but I would like to be able to hover over the pixel, and at the bottom it tells me the value, if that's possible, the color value. But also, if pos, I don't know how hard this last one would be, but say I'm drawing a tileable tile, would you be able to make a preview where I could see it in like a group of 4 or 8, you know, or 9 or whatever, so it was like a group? Because I found I had to, like, I was drawing a tileable tile, seamless tile, and I had to sort of copy it into the one next to it just so I could see it match up, if you know what I mean. It would be great. I mean, it might not be easy, but I wrote it down anyway, just in case you were able to do that. But I'm getting the hang of that art program. I'm starting to use just that now rather than GIMP. I mean, that last thing, I guess it would be like a separate window I'd want to pop up, maybe. It would be the easiest way to do that. Oh, haven't you? Fair enough. No worries. I didn't even know the next had been like out that long. It doesn't seem like that long ago. Can you do load BHL? I don't think you can you? Oh, yes you can. Oh, drag drop would be amazing as well, man. If that's possible. I did think that as well, but I thought that's a bit cheeky asking for that. I wouldn't have the first clue how to do all that. I can actually just reuse HL now, can't I? So if they're not the same, we're just going to return and not give a collision. Now we're going to do Y as well, because in the previous game we were only bothered about the X. And then finally we have collision. Now I need to extend this. Wait, have I done this backwards yet again? I tend to do these Y ones backwards quite a lot. Player's head. Larger number than NPC foot. I think that will be alright. Yo Vulcan, thanks for popping in and saying hi. Alright, I guess I'm just going to change the border here. See if it works first. We can just call that at the bottom of the update loop. So some quite slow progress again today. But I am sort of trying to think ahead. And it seems to work. Maybe it's a bit too keen. This is just a trigger. It's not a collision box, it's a trigger. So that if I now press like action button, I want to be able to pop up the dialogue. What I'll do is where I set this, I think I can get away with just putting it there black. Yeah. So in other words, if it's blue, you're in a position where you can talk to the guy. It's too far down in it. Not bad, is it? It's working. I'd say that's alright. Of course, I'm going to make it so you can't walk through the guy as well soon. I'm going to do that from within the player routines. Yeah, you won't be able to walk into him. It'll literally stop you. And of course, your sprite will turn around when you walk in a different direction. I just haven't got the sprite for that yet. So that's stage 1 out of about 1,000 complete. We're going to need like a UI class of its own, really. I'll call this I'm wondering if UI is a bit generic. Call it dialogue. So we set some dimensions first, and they're going to be constant for now. You know, if it was going to be fancy, I'd make it resizable and it would sit somewhere near the character. For now, it's just going to pop up at the bottom. Oh. So we already know where the bottom of the screen is. So we just need to know a height. I'm going to say, that's actually a really good question. The dialogue, of course. Oh, thanks, Vulcan. Nice one, mate. These are 16 by 16. Yes, they are. We could zoom them, but I'm actually happy with 16 by 16. Let me look again at it. I think the size is perfect, actually. I'm actually really happy with the size. But yeah, that's what I was just thinking out loud about. The font. Is it 8 by 8? How am I gonna make an 8 by 8 font with a 16 by 16 tile set? That sounds like a lot of work. Like each tile would contain 4 letters, yeah? Oh, size. It's quarter, isn't it? Yeah. No, I mean what I mean is the fonts are normally adequate in 8 by 8, but the sprites on the specky are 16 by 16. Do an 8 by 8 tile routine. Okay. Ah, okay. So do I use the sprite memory, or would you use something different for that? Layer 2. Okay. Interesting. I hadn't even foreseen this problem whatsoever. Right. Drawing it would be a problem for me. I didn't even think of this to be a problem. It's funny. Okay, I'm with you all the way up to the copies and relevant bitmap data to the screen, but you're an awesome dude, Mook. I'd love to see that if you've got it to hand. What a dude. So bearing in that mind, we are going to use 8 by 8. So if we say 32 as the height, plus padding of let's say 2 per line. So let's say 1 per line. 36. We've got 4 lines there. Let's not have padding. Add padding later when we've got it all working. I'm not going to even bother with width, height, width or position or anything, because the position is at the bottom of the screen, starts at the left, ends at the right, and is 32 above the bottom of the screen. But I'm thinking I can do things and I don't know how to do them actually, because how do I just draw some blue? I'm going to have to work on this. I only know how to draw sprites right now, but really we don't need to use a sprite. We could have a blue pixel and draw it. Draw it as many times as we need it. Or something similar to the 8x8 routine. We'll have an 8x8 blue line, blue square, and just draw enough of them to fill the box. Yeah, so I've hit two snags here. One is the font, and then similarly drawing just pixels. Alright, let's put a scratch on the dialogue system for now. Until, oh, nice move. I was going to say I'll try and get the background drawing. Nice one, Luke. Oh, okay. Okay, so you're directly drawing to the screen. Maybe that's situated at that address. I see. Uh, could we point it? Could I see what's happening there? That's the high byte. So that would be that. Not too bad. That's brilliant, man. I can't wait to figure that out for myself as well. But of course, it's great having it just here. I'll move this into tools because no doubt I can continue to use it. Um, could I point it at the Spectrum 40? Oh, you've got some fonts. You dude. Yeah, because that would take me, it would take me hours to even draw some crappy font, let alone some decent ones. Funny, because there is the actual mull command in there. Did you create your own front end editor, did you, Micro? That's brilliant. Check my email, will do, mate. Do, 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 do. Did you send it to codaretro409 or one of my other email addresses? Oh, here it is. I'm being stupid. Thank you so much for that. Okay, that's saved. Millions would later come out. It's a shame. I think you couldn't have sold it to someone. Right, where did I put that? For some reason I closed it. There it is. Oh, a whole bunch of them. Nice. Do you ink bin font1.spr then? Or do you put it through UDG to make it into assembly? Which is what I'm going to do. Just ink bin. You checking that's better then? I'm going to try to do that, mate. I don't know exactly how, but I take it from what you've written that means by ink binning it with the MMU thing. Yeah. Oh, I've forgotten what that. It's about the size, isn't it? Thank you, mate. Into C though, yeah. C. Nice, man. Right, let me pop that into the correct file location. Oh, E. Okay, sorry, mate. So E, and then in tools. Is that okay? That it's that, yeah. It's very cool. This. This is all very new to me. I'm very much noob here. That's fine, yeah. Alright, let's see how to call this tools. I'm going to leave this constant declared there. I may even end up trying to rewrite this for myself so I can see if I understand it. Plot tile 8. YX coordinate. Oh, I see, okay. Okay, thank you. Before plot tiles 8. Just do it right at the start. Okay. What I want to do, the reason I'm slowing down here, I want to use the same approach, but I want to draw just a blue tile first to fill the background of the box. An 8 tile. Okay, thank you. But before I write anything, so this is where I'm going to do it. But of course, that's just a bunch of font. I would like. I guess it's got a background already. I could just go straight into the font right now if I wanted. Just test it out. It's actually very hard to even just to print font in a straight line, you know, to know where the end is. I guess when X gets to a certain number. How would we store our messages? Would they just be a string? I should take a look at Microman's game over routine for that. You can't have constant strings, can you? Wouldn't work with this anyway, I don't think. Maybe I do want a constant for the position then. just to make life easy. Oh wait, wait. Tools. Let me see you. That's wrong straight away, isn't it? This is only going to print one letter. I see. Do need a little routine. Let me have a think about it then. If I take away, if I subtract ASCII 0 from whatever this value is. Legend Emook. Thank you, man. I fear I will need you, but I'll try. Need a string index as well. I do at the moment. I'm just trying to display any message. I don't know how to I haven't quite thought about like actually making tailored messages for each NPC yet, but showing a tile. Okay. Because of the way I've set it up, this is how I'm going to do it using A. I think this will be alright. Oh, that's in cells. Alright, so it's going to be at the height of the screen. I know it's not quite the bottom. And then it's 0x. Let's try it. Try to show the tile first. You can load X, Y, and 1. Yeah, but I don't have any XY position. That's why I've done that. But a bit stupid, I know. I bet it doesn't even work. Got to include. Got to remember my includes. Always brush your teeth and remember your includes. I could have done that, but I think I've already done the XY. It's going to be where I want it to be as well. I hope, which is just off the bottom of the screen. There was one other thing other than include that I've forgotten to do. Oh, call it. Let's call it when we get the collision. Sod it. For now, it's only when we do that. I'm going to fix this as well. So it'll be interesting to see if it disappears when I walk away from the NPC. Or if it even shows up. Oh, it's crashed. Is that because it's getting called constantly? Let's just try calling it right at the start of the game instead. Okay, I believe that's crashed again. I'm not sure. Set it to the player's position then. Oh, it's a word. So that won't work. Of course, it wouldn't have liked 0. Don't. Well, it might have. Might have been right. A big doll. Well, hey, it's showing something now. It's not quite where I expected it to be, but oh, it's in character size. Okay, thank you, mate. I didn't realise that. How stupid am I? That makes life a lot easier. So dialogue height would just be 4 then. Let's see what 0 does. And if that was a quotation, just trying to see where A starts. Oh, it's in ASCII order. Okay, thanks. Oh, it's not defined. OX30. Saving a riddle for later. When I'm even more knackered. Well, hey, we've got an S, so I think it's 20 actually, not 30. A C. Alright, I'm messed up all over the place here. Certainly getting there, isn't it? I wonder why it's not in the right place. It does look bloody cool. And also, thanks to eMOOC, I've got about 20 fonts to choose from there, or at least well over 10. Little Endian. Yeah, but I put Y first. There's something weird about HL, isn't there? Being backward. I don't know, I seem to remember that. But well, hey, perfect. Not quite sure why it's not showing the letter A right now. B. That seems odd. Starts with a quotation. Okay. It's weird though, I had to go backwards one. Is that font big enough? I'll probably look at it in here. Oh no, can't, unfortunately. It just seems a little bit funky about the first offset of the A. Trying to figure that out. I'm just loading the website to remind myself. Oh well. Alright, so if I just say letter A. And then I can just do plus 5. Is that going to be E or F? Can I get an F? Alright, so we've made some progress there. It's got to be that background box. Well, no, let's make it let's try and print the test string. It's going to be tricky. Retro Hello World. Printing actual characters. Define word. Define word. What do you mean to define these words? No, define word would, I don't know how that would affect the string, but that would make everything 2 bytes. I'm thinking though, you have to store a string as a string of these offsets, which is a right pain. So if I wanted to write A, I'd have to do. No problem, Specky, no problem. I found that funny anyway, that was fun. Because it made me think define word, and then you write like hello. Yeah, I've just defined the word, what's wrong with that? Brilliant. This can't be right though, having to define it like that. I must be able to do something better. Emuk's like, what the flip are you doing? Keep thinking. So obviously, I think I was right by this being able to have I am a test. Surely, there's got to be some way. I can still do it like that. Good. I like Emu with the T's. It's good. For now, I'm just trying to get this I from it. Obviously, I have to loop, don't I, to do all of them. But could that happen? Like I said, I've still got to add the offset though, haven't I? But the offset's backwards because that's an ASCII character. So that's like I is like quite high up. It's much higher than 31. Like A in the spectrum character set. A is normally 65, that's it. Right, so that's 34 different. Let me just try that a sec. Nothing. I wonder why that didn't show anything. Oh, I had a warning there. Whoa, it's a strange one. I've never seen. Include data name equals font1.spr. Oh, it's not a warning. Ah, I didn't see this text. Sometimes Oh, that there. Thank you. I didn't see that message. And no worries, Micro. Thanks for visiting, as always. It's the main part of the fun, to be fair, the chat. Of course, the game, when it is great when the game gets going though as well. The zero is just a way of signifying the end, isn't it? When I get to the end of the loop, I'm only trying to print this one. I can't see why. Is it because I'm using DE like that? It's nothing stupid. Like I can't see this working, but I'm going to try it anyway because I'm running out of ideas. Nope. At this stage, I've just got to see it working again to see it. Right, there it is again. Strange. Use BC and decrement. I'm not even doing the loop yet though. I'm only trying to print the first character. No, it is useful that. I'm going to do that actually. You're right, but that's going to be how I go through to the end. I probably don't even need to do that actually with the zero there. Just wait till I find a zero. Like the reason of decrementing is to know you got it to the end of the loop, isn't it? But here we will know we've got to the end. What a bugger. It's not going to like that, is it? At the breakpoint. It ain't been 10 minutes, is it? Kind of knew that wasn't going to work. Alright, I'll put it back to how I thought it was going to work and I'll use a breakpoint then. That's actually slightly different. I had sub A 34 minutes. Oh, it's there now. It's showing I though. Alright. Oh, the first letter is I. I'm such an idiot, am I? Thank you, man. So, it seems to be working. How is it going to handle space? We'll find out. First I've got to create a loop now. Maybe that should be an offset, I mean a constant. So that's doing one character, isn't it? Any animal lovers out there? What's not to love, innit? I don't hate them. How do you make a cat sound like a dog? Soaking petrol. I knew you were going to say light a match. And tell it to bark like a dog. Specky nut. If you look at Wikipedia, you see the character set of the spectrum, and you'll see where A starts, and you'll find A is the value 65 or something. But in our set here, A is 31, so we've done that's the offset. I wonder, does it move it along for me? I hope it does. Maybe it doesn't. Wait, I better check this. No problems, my dude. I'm going to say it doesn't. So if that was the case, I'd need to increase this number as I go along. I mean, I guess one easy way of doing that would be so now this is the current X. Of course you can't do that. So we want to ink DE. See, sometimes I used to do this in K, and it wouldn't actually increase it. I'd have to do add A1. Maybe I'm wrong there. I think that's going to be added. So we move X1. That needs to be 8 anyway. No, wait, it's done in ones, it's done in character cells. and then we want to jump back. I could do it. So if it's 0, let's try that then. See what that does. Haha. It's getting called every frame, and also the characters are gone. Something's not working there. Oh, this is only called one time as well, so it was literally 100% the loop. It was never exiting. I think DE should suffice, shouldn't it? It should end up there eventually. It's still doing it. Fair enough, Specky. Haha, fair play. Nah, thanks for coming back in, man. We'll get there in the end with this. Sometimes I need to repeat these things over and over a few times. It's all brand new to me, this system. But soon we'll be making lots of games. Nice one, Micro. He's in Canada. Thanks very much, dude. Hopefully, after I display this string, I'll probably end up going offline. It's getting quite late here. But then tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up, smash a few bits in, try my best at a tile map, and then come back on and show the progress I made. But I've got to figure this loop out first. I'm clearly failing it somewhere. We start off setting it to 0. Yeah, I need to do that, Specky. Too right. I really would have thought that would work, actually. Oh, I've got an error. Oh, breakpoint's not recognised. It was giving me an error saying enemy.asm could not be found. But it also says unrecognized instruction breakpoint. That's strange, isn't it? It's right here. Whoa, it compiled now. That's strange. I think I know why that is. It's because of the way I included it. You've got to worry about what order. So where's the flags? I want to see the... If you notice, it just prints I over and over again. Don't really need a breakpoint for it. Yeah, the reason for that, I think, because this macro is in tools. And it'll fail now, but I think the reason is... Yeah, tools is at the bottom. I bet you if I put that at the top, it'll work now. Yeah, it does. So that was the reason for that. The macro had not been declared. It's funny because all the includes that doesn't matter, but for that it clearly does, for breakpoints. It's the first time I've encountered on assembly having to worry about include orders. To be honest, I don't think I need a breakpoint for it. I can see what's happening. It's drawing I over and over again and never exiting this loop. I think it gets to the space. It doesn't like the space, does it? No, it didn't make any difference. It's funny how it scrolls it and everything. That's made me worry about whether I should have been doing this with the position or not. Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I can learn from it quicker. It's very nice. Ah, hang on. Oh no, it's just drawing in the same place over and over now, isn't it? Just loading it. Oh, no, I like to see you've got the sub 34 in there. At least I know I did that bit right. Oh, I like this full stop in front of some of the loops. I didn't know you could do that. Skip space. I'll worry about the space later. See, ink L. Yeah, good point. That's all I have to do with that in there. Ink DE. Doesn't look all that much different to mine, to be honest. Doesn't look all that much different. Very similar, really. I could make sense of most of it. I'd say, if anything, the DE at the very start of show message is the bit that confuses me. It's very similar to mine. There's like one thing missing out of this. Obviously my code is done slightly different, but most of it achieves the same thing in a different way. The bits that are different. Need to use HL for what else? Is that what I'm doing? Its position's fine, it's just not going out of the loop. It doesn't seem to move along the loop. Oh yeah. Oh, good shout. Thank you, mate. It's because I'm tired. I didn't even think of that. I just need to push and pop it, don't I? Uh, I should have thought of that. A slightly different variation on the bug. Oh, so now they're moving along the screen. Still destroying all eyes over and over though. What have I done here? Just looking at your code again. It's very similar now, ignoring the space bit. I'm just trying to work out, does it move me along? See where you ink L. That's how I did it in the first place when it didn't work, do you remember? Okay. I'll go back to how I had it. Ah yeah, that's it, mate. Oh god, I'm so insanely tired, aren't I thought that as well. Do you know what? When I very first wrote it, I thought, I've got to move that, and then I just didn't. I forgot it. Well, hey, you beaut. Thanks, Mook. Maybe I'll quickly add the space thing in as well then. Let's try that. Nope. Oh yeah. Mate, I need you to permanently sit next to me in my flat so I can just continually ask you questions all day long. I'll get bunk beds. You can have the top bunk. I am a test. I'm going to change it, wait there. Oh, the capital ones, I've just realised. Aren't they different? Are they different in the character set? That might be why I was having problems. Oh, they're not, okay. Get in. Let's see if it can pop up when I get to the NPC. Because I was worried that this would continually repeat it. Oh, brilliant. Oh, but it doesn't disappear. No big deal. Because I'll be drawing that into a dialog box. And I'll be able to have a is visible bool on that. And I'll just delete everything in there, I guess. If not. Excellent. Oh, I wouldn't have got there without you again. Only did uppercase. That's cool. I meant in the actual characters, spectrum character set. I wasn't sure whether the capitals were different or not. Empty tile and print over. Yeah, that sounds like a good solution. Because I need the empty tile anyway as a background. Obviously just a blue square. Just checking one thing on this character set. Oh yeah, the capitals are different, but they're the first ones. That's interesting. So if I actually wrote, it might not work now. Nah, see, it doesn't work. So you've got to remember to use caps. Simple enough. Yeah. Or do a full font. Yeah, good point. I might do some font. It's the sort of thing that's nice to do when you're actually just bored, isn't it? And watching a TV show at the same time or something. Try a different font out. Yeah, good point. Try font 18, yeah. Stolen them from arcade. Awesome. They had a right arcadey look. It had like a glow to it as well, which was quite cool. Oh, the compiler says that it found it. Huh. What? They're not working. Oh, you know why, don't you? I'm flipping more on there. I don't know how I even get by in life, let alone coding. Just started expecting it not to work. Ah, that one's pretty cool. The ice font. Let's try 11. Nice. So far, I actually like number 1 best though. What more could you ever need though? That's The Simpsons, isn't it? That's brilliant. Is that from The Simpsons arcade? I'd bet my life that it is. I'm going to change the message actually to like a slogan so I can get a good thumbnail. I've got their names now. I could tell that one looked like The Simpsons though. It did have an exclamation point, didn't it? But I'm not sure whether it will like it. Okay. Special character's not quite working properly, but that's no biggie. Let's try a different font. 7's got to be a good one. Hey, I like that one a lot. I like it a lot. I'm going to leave it on there for a little while. Try and get the thumbnail automatic. Oh. Thank you very much for your help, Emook. Move the cup, yeah. Gotta hide it. Where is it? There we go. Look at that. It's coming along nice, isn't it? God, that could be a Super Nintendo. See, that's like looks a lot like the Street Fighter 2 font. Capcom. Oh, I can't wait, man. You've taught me a lot on here. I can't wait to really, make hopefully something quite impressive eventually. Yeah, it looks fantastic. I can only say thank you once, unfortunately, because you've done so many good things. I deserve a million thank yous. I can't wait to make this game. I get a little retro buzz out of these old characters like this, these little things. Software tile map. Do you know? That's more in my sort of turf as well, isn't it? The only thing is I've got 16. I probably will try and use the tile map hardware. I think I'm well capable of it. It's just I might be there for hours doing nothing. Yeah, what my next task is to draw a world, to create a world of tiles that's like 1000 by 1000. And then be able to walk around and scroll it, when it gets to like here, you'd stop moving the player and it would move the camera instead. But I have done it before on quite a lot of different platforms. So I know what it entails roughly. I have done it before, so it's just a case of doing it in assembly that's a bit funny. I can't wait. Every day seems like learning new stuff. It's really fun. It's funny, the NPC looks better than the player. Because we're on a black background there. I can't wait to get that tile map in with the ground and the castle and all that sort of malarkey. It's going to be great fun. Scroll and draw the edge columns. That sounds good. Yeah. I mean, you can basically have a camera position and only draw tiles that are within 20 whatever 32 tiles width of that camera position. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, yeah, the edge is where it gets funny when you've only got half a tile. But I'm sure they will be able to do it. It's going to be remarkable fun. I really can't wait. I need to get sprites so I can make him walk sideways as well. Imagine that, once we've done tile map and the animations, people are going to look at this and think, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch this getting made now. The dialogue system will be the hardest thing, to make an actual meaningful dialogue system that can know what you need to be able to hard code into each NPC, like a quest if necessary, a conversation or two. And each NPC has to have their own one of them, So I'll have to come up with a way of like numbering the messages, or I'll think of a way anyway, don't worry. Yeah, I'm sure it will be a big pain. I can't wait. I hope so. And I've worked with tiled editors before, like if you've ever heard of it, the tiled level editor. I've used that a lot and then passed it as data into Unity or Java or game engines. And it was a real pain to start with, but I got my head around that eventually. I was able to just import levels and do all sorts of stuff with it by the end of it, So I'm hoping some of that will still apply here. That's what I'm going to do this evening, tonight, just before I go to sleep, is just read about tile maps on the Spec Next site. It's been another really fun session. At one point we had like 10 people in here chatting, so I'm really happy. I just hope I can impress enough to keep people watching. Because of the limited RAM. Okay. See, the bank, I'm still hazy with how the banks work. Like what exactly the purpose it is. Is it because it's split into 3 segments, the screen? It's going to be good fun trying anyway. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Right, yeah. I think I know what you mean. I've seen the map of that. Let's try and bring it up on screen. Okay, yeah. Ah, okay. Right. And the bank is horizontal, isn't it, across? Right, okay. That does sound complicated. So take it you have to flick between each bank really quickly so you don't see any screen tearing or, any weird effects. Right, yeah, bank 100. Right, I'm still following. Right, okay. I definitely need to get that the reference for all these next regs next as well. Ah, there it is. Thank you. Saved me looking it up. Cheers, man. Yeah, I've definitely been here before, but now I understand a little bit more what I'm looking at. Visible memory map. Paging techniques. Yeah, it will come, man. Especially with you around. Like, you've accelerated me a lot. So I can only thank you, you know. It's nice doing it all on your own, but this would have, I would have been, you know, way further behind if it weren't for you. I guess I'd still probably be just trying to get sprites drawn on the screen. Yeah, I'm armed with these two documents now. I've got my tile map document and my memory map, and I'm going to read them extensively until hopefully I understand it. Not as well as you, but you know, some way towards as good as you get it. Tile map. Press F1. Just trying to see it. I don't see banks. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I see. So I take it FF is no slot. 32. ROM. Okay. Bank 20 would be 32, yeah? I do, I do. 20 and 01 it says. Oh, oh yeah, I see. So it stays there throughout the program until I change it. I see. Okay. So that's what you were saying, like the limited addressable memory space. You have to link up banks to be able to have all the memory usage. That would make sense. That's really helpful, man. Thank you. I mean, as I keep saying, I can only take little bits at a time with a brand new system like this. I was only a novice in assembly anyway, so this is just like even more complex. But I've been meaning to get more complex. You know, the Specky only had certain what's the word, potential. You know, this has got much more potential. I think I will, mate, because I'm going to read both them documents as well. The / tile map and / memory map on the SpecNext site. I can't wait, mate. Every day I think about coming back the next day. You know, I'm always looking forward to it. I'm reading through the tile map, skim reading it now. It doesn't look too bad. You know, it's not like it's got like acres and acres of text. It'll be probably my next day off, which is Monday, when I really get some big progress. Because that's when I would normally have, you know, loads of time the night before, and then I wake up, I've got all day to chill out, read and try little things. It doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there then and come back tomorrow. I'll be here virtually every night, so whenever you're around, Luke, make sure you pop in, say hello. Oh, you got an example there, you top geezer. Oh, I hadn't already starred your. Thought I had, but I have now. That's amazing, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I want to say tomorrow I'll come back and have it all ready and waiting for you, but you know that's not going to be the case. But I'm going to try. And nonetheless, we're definitely going to get this dialogue system up and running tomorrow. And, you know, hopefully the tile map as well. And then everyone's going to be blown away with how amazing it looks. So I'll say thank you again, Emu. I'm sure you'll be around again. I hope. And I'll be online tomorrow. See everyone there. Have a good rest of your night. Look after yourselves.